And Tyler, it's good seeing you. So you grow up a Steeler fan, right?
Absolutely not.
You didn't?
No, I grew up a Dallas Cowboy fan. Tony Dorsett's family, uncle came from Aliquippa, so yeah, absolutely. So that's my uncle right there. So I was a Cowboy fan. So
my mother actually did that as well.
Yeah,
it's pretty remarkable.
What's that?
She was a Cowboys fan. She still is.
In Pittsburgh.
Yes, it's
why is
it's
that?
Very I mean, it's Pittsburgh. You can't be you have to be a Steelers fan,
right?
Well, I will say this: when I was playing, a lot of my friends, family, they wanted me to do well. But they were such diehard Steelers fans that they wanted the Steelers to win the game. We want you to get 5 interceptions, but we want the Steelers to win.
You had some success against the Steelers. Let me talk about first of all the Rams Chiefs. I imagine as a defensive player, you didn't love it last night.
No, I didn't love it. I mean, because of how the rules are today, it was certain plays in the game that can determine the outcome of the game, and I don't think that it should happen like that. Like, for instance, on the Tyreek Hill catch. It was a great catch, by the way. But I try to envision myself playing at the time, and there's no way in hell that would have happened because I would have dislodged him from the ball immediately. He would have been taken out. But that's how I grew up playing the game.
You were a very physical player.
Exactly. So, I probably wouldn't receive a check. So, I wouldn't get no check at the end of the week because of the way all the rules that they put in right now. But I don't like the way the games are being called. I think I can say that I can't get fined, by the referees. But it's absolutely ridiculous. But I think they're trying to abide by the rules. But I think it's taken away from the game and watering it down.
I mean, Aaron Donald still makes plays.
Best in the game. By far, like I got to say that is best in the game, best defensive player by far.
Yeah, it's he gets doubled, leads the NFL in sacks from an interior defensive lineman. That's just that's like Reggie White and him. You can't do that.
Exactly. I mean, so he money well deserved, well spent, and he backed the Brinks truck into the facility, and they loaded it up, and he's proven everything that he's worth.
NFL guys, defensive guys, still make money.
Right.
There is value, especially in a great pass rusher, but there is a physical component. When you watch like Mahomes last night, he looks to me like Favre.
Right.
You can goat him into some picks. Like Goff is a pretty disciplined guy. If I said you had to face Goff or Mahomes, which would you rather face?
To be honest with you, I would rather face Goff because Patrick Mahomes has an ability to beat you at any given play. And with the weapons that he has out there on the outside, when Sammy Watkins, he gets healthy, you're talking about Tyreek Hill, who is scary in itself at any play that he can go ahead and give it to you. I'm like, and he can use his legs if he has to.
Patrick.
I would rather play against somebody that was more calculated, that you can study, that you can just pick up on. You can't pick up on the same things as Patrick Mahomes because he has to do so many different things.
He can also
he'll give you opportunities.
Goff can beat you. Mahomes can humiliate you. Like Goff can beat you on just a precise throw.
Exactly. He's more in the Tom Brady type of things. You know what I mean? He has Brett Favre. I said that earlier in the green room that he reminds me of Brett Favre. I mean, you got to let a gunslinger be a gunslinger. Just like in basketball, you got to let a shooter be a shooter. He's going to have off nights, but a shooter is going to keep on shooting. And you got to let this kid play because he's playing naturally. If you try to change what he is, I think you're going to hurt him.
By the way, did you face Favre?
Yes.
How'd you do?
Brett didn't throw at me.
Oh.
No. So, I played him in the Super Bowl as a young guy. So, Brett Favre, he came to me before pregame. I was talking to Antonio Freeman. At the time, we just chopping it up before the game, warming up. He said, you ain't going to get no burn tonight. I'm like, and I'm in a second year. I was 96, so basically I'm still young. So I'm thinking they're about to try to fire me up. And then Brett came out to warm up. He said, you ain't going to get no action tonight. So I was on high alert all game because I'm figuring that this guy is about to come. Yeah, he's going to try to get me, but he was right. He didn't mess with me at all.
Let me shift to the Steelers. My Super Bowl pick, and you're from Pittsburgh, and Joy is from Pittsburgh, and I watch her emotionally go through these games. There's a Whitney Houston, the late great Whitney Houston, feel to the Steelers. Is that Whitney's personal life may have been a little off sometimes. Mm-hmm. But she'd step on stage and you were like, oh, good Lord, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen. Like, Pittsburgh is in a constant roller coaster of emotion. And Tomlin drives me nuts, but I know he's a good coach. Le'Veon Bell was chattering. Antonio Brown wants the ball. And I just watched them against Jacksonville, and I'm like, who trails by 10 with 2 minutes to go and wins the game in regulation? When you look at Pittsburgh and Big Ben, what do you see?
I see still a team that's trying to find themselves, even though they know who they are. We know about the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers, but the whole Le'Veon Bell situation is always something with that team. They have a lot of characters there, Big Ben Roethlisberger, and, from whether he's going to play, he's not going to play in years past as far as his retirement. Antonio Brown, of course, he got the big payday, so he wants the ball. You got Juju Smith-Schuster, who's a number one receiver in his own right, and he wants the ball. So it's a lot of talent there, but they just have to bring it all together, and you never know what could happen with those guys. But I think, they have great leadership in Mike Tomlin, and I like what they're doing going into the playoffs. They just can't beat the Patriots.
Yeah, they struggle with that. By the way, McCarthy and Rodgers are having their issues. Mm-hmm. It was never an ideal fit. I always thought Belichick and Brady were actually perfect. They're both smart. Mm. They're both driven. Bill got burned by the Browns. Brady dropped in the draft. He's got a chip. And they had this sort of equal passion. They were equally I think Sean Payton and Breeze are equally – they're a fit. I never thought McCarthy, old school, looks like a Milwaukee cop, and cool – kind of cool, aloof Aaron Rodgers, I never thought they fit. They made it work for years. Right. But when I look at McCarthy and Rodgers, to me it's like, hey, good run. It's over. And I'm okay with it.
I am too. I think they had a good run, but sometimes change is good. But they've been together for so long. You're used to each other. I hear a lot of chatter about Belichick and Brady on the same page. If you take two alpha males, and you're pretty much getting all alpha males in this sport. Yeah. One is the quarterback who's leading the team. The other one is the head coach. You're going to bump heads at times. You're not always going to agree on the same thing. So I think when it comes to McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers, nature might have ran its course. Because you have to think about some of the weapons that he had at his disposal who are no longer there. You can't ask Aaron Rodgers, whether it's Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, or any other of the great quarterbacks out there. You take away Jerry Rice from Steve Young, Joe Montana, it's going to hurt their production, plain and simple. Yeah. So you got to give Aaron Rodgers something to work with, because even though Tom Brady is the GOAT, by far the best quarterback who's ever played the game, in today's game right now, Aaron Rodgers is the best talent pound for pound quarterback.
Finally, MVP stuff. Mahomes, Luck, Breeze, Big Ben. If you picked an MVP, a lot of guys don't care. I've never been a big awards person. But is there somebody – now, the word is most valuable player. It's not a stat award. Right. Even though everybody thinks it's a stat award. Who's the most – here's – my order would be Breeze, Luck, who's doing it with a lot of smoke and mirrors, Ben and Mahomes. Who would you give MVP to?
Right now, I would have to say Drew Brees. Everyone's talking about, Tom Brady at his advanced age. He's not too far behind him, and he's having one of the best seasons of his career. His completion percentage is, about 76%?
Yeah, Brees' completion percentage is, I think, 76%.
Yes, I'm saying 70% completion rate, at this point in his career is incredible. He's working with new young receivers. He's still and his backs are incredible. He's spreading the ball around, and it's not like he's just dinking and dunking to get that percentage. He's throwing the ball downfield. He's making stuff happen. So right now, he has to be the front runner. But the one name that you didn't have up there was Aaron Donald. I know he's a defensive player, and we always getting the short end of the stick.
Yeah,
but you have to put him in the MVP. I think you conversation. You have to put him in there.
I think so. He leads the NFL in hits and sacks. This is all I can say. If Aaron Donald doesn't play last night, Chiefs win. That's valuable.
Absolutely, and that is value. So I think we tend to overlook the defensive players, because defense at the end of the day wins championships. We all know that. We can talk about regular season, quarterbacks, running backs putting up all these fantastic numbers, but at the end of the day, when it's time to hold up that Lombardi trophy, it's going to be about the defense. It usually is.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd, or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.